Hello, everybody. We're here with Doug Grossinger. He works with the National High School Coaches Association that helps with high school athletes and connects them through the college and the professional level. And here we are talking about the scandals in college athletics and specifically the Oklahoma State football scandal that has just come out on Sports Illustrated. So, Doug, how are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
Okay, so my first question for you, Doug, and you're familiar with the story, is that Oklahoma State boosters were handing out money to players, and so the first question I want to ask you is access for boosters. What do you think the level of access should be to boosters? Was that too much access?
I think that there should be a limited amount of access from boosters. There certainly should be various rules around it. Oftentimes, boosters are just trying to give money to players, and boosters aren't aware of rules. So I think that whereas it's very good to have fans and booster organizations, there needs to be various rules around having boosters involved so that, and penalties, which there are, so that boosters are not providing money under the table or otherwise to players.
If you were an athlete and you might not be from a background that serves you decently financially, and you hear about situations where other college athletes are getting paid, would you aim to go to a university where money is being thrown around? Like, would you be kind of demanding for the money as a college athlete?
Well, first of all, I do feel that college athletes should get paid something.
Okay.
I think that if I was an athlete, or I think most athletes might consider going to a school where if they were legally able to be paid. I think that athletes provide a great amount of revenue to universities, and I feel that there should be rules where generally, all athletes on a certain team should be getting some certain amount of payment.
My one thing with paying athletes is that it might be hard to police the system, meaning that pay might be based on a position, and if you're a starting position like a starting wide receiver and you happen to be a star receiver, and then say your backup is a decent player who's a young underclassman like a freshman, and say as like a junior wide receiver I'm a star and I get hurt, and then the younger guy comes in and does just as well as me, and he's getting paid at the beginning of the year a certain amount of money. Like, do you know what I'm trying to get at? Like, do you think it would be hard to police these athletics? What's the first step in trying to get this into the system?
I feel that it probably would make it easier if there is a set amount that everybody who makes a team makes, because otherwise it just would get very difficult when certain starters or certain players, such as a wide receiver, different than a lineman. And so I think that just having a flat amount that everybody on a certain team makes would be best.
Do you think that, like, fans are already pretty harsh on college athletes, and a lot of fans, especially passionate fan bases, whether it's SEC football or Big Ten basketball, they criticize these athletes like they're professionals. But now that they're getting paid, do you think that level of criticism might even enhance because they're getting paid?
I think that's possible. Yeah, it is. It would bring in a lot of changes if they would get paid. I mean, it does seem, from what I could tell, that the NCAA is not about to start paying players anytime soon. But in any event, yeah, it certainly brings in a lot of issues if there is payment. But I think that over time, hopefully in the coming years, the
system will balance out.
Yes.
Last thing I want to ask you is Scott Bruner brought up a point about marketing athletes and about that they should have the money to brand themselves. And I actually agree with him because I think that that policing paying athletes would be difficult. I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from, but talk about maybe sponsoring athletes, branding athletes. Would you give freedom to athletes to do that?
I think so. I think with certain rules, I think it does make sense. Various athletes anyway do that. Johnny Football and various athletes who are very well known.
Well, he can't make any money off of it though.
Right, not able to make money, but in terms of marketing themselves and such, people do that.
Absolutely.
but ultimately, I think that, again, I am in favor of some small to medium amount of money coming to athletes. I think that the time has come for that, and yes, there need to be rules put in place for it.